global news and updates. Today's news is dubbed, thousands of Palestinians return to northern Gaza. Amid a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, thousands of Palestinians have begun returning to their homes. In northern Gaza, a region devastated by weeks of intense conflict, the return marks a bittersweet moment for many families who are eager to reclaim their homes, but face the stark reality of widespread destruction and limited resources. The situation on the ground, the northern Gaza Strip, including key areas such as Beit Hanun and Jabalia, bore the brunt of airstrikes and artillery bombardments during the recent escalation of violence. Local authorities estimate that over 70% of residential buildings in the region have been damaged or destroyed, leaving returning residents to sift through rubble in search of salvageable belongings. "We have no choice but to come back," said Amina Faraj, a mother for returning to Jabalia. "Our home is gone, but this is where we belong." Humanitarian organizations on the ground, including the United Nations Relief and Works Agency UNRWA, have reported severe shortages of food, clean water, and medical supplies. Temporary shelters are being set up for those whose homes are uninhabitable, but aid workers warn that the needs far exceed the available resources. The ceasefire agreement, brokered by Egypt and Qatar with support from the United Nations, has brought a temporary halt to the fighting. Both sides have agreed to allow humanitarian aid to flow into Gaza, but there are lingering tensions and mutual accusations of ceasefire violations. International observers have called for restraint to ensure that the truce holds. Israeli officials have stated that their military operations targeted Hamas infrastructure, while Hamas has accused Israel of collective punishment against Gaza's civilian population. The international community is urging both sides to return to negotiations aimed at achieving a long-term resolution to the conflict. Rebuilding efforts. Reconstruction in northern Gaza will require significant financial support and international coordination. Preliminary estimates from the Palestinian Ministry of Public Works and Housing indicate that rebuilding efforts could cost upwards of $1 billion. Key priorities include restoring electricity, water, and sanitation infrastructure, as well as rebuilding homes, schools, and hospitals. Qatar has pledged $500 million in aid to support Gaza's reconstruction, while other nations, including Turkey and Norway, have committed to additional funding. However, aid agencies warn that without a lasting peace agreement, rebuilding efforts may be undermined by future violence. Conversation prompts. How can the international community ensure that aid reaches those who need it most in Gaza? What steps can be taken to prevent future escalations of violence between Israel and Hamas? Should rebuilding efforts be contingent on political agreements, or should they proceed independently? What role should regional powers such as Egypt and Qatar play in mediating the conflict and supporting reconstruction? Latest updates. On humanitarian aid convoys, several humanitarian aid trucks entered Gaza this week carrying food, water, and medical supplies. However, aid organizations report that the scale of assistance isn't sufficient to meet the overwhelming needs. To political reactions, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has called for an international summit to address the root causes of the conflict and advance a two-state solution. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reaffirmed his government's commitment to maintaining security. 3 civilian challenges. Local residents have expressed frustration over the lack of immediate assistance and the slow pace of reconstruction efforts. Many families are relying on community support and international aid to survive. For UNRWA appeals for funding, the UN agency has launched an emergency appeal for $300 million to provide immediate humanitarian assistance and begin rebuilding critical infrastructure in Gaza. Conclusion. The return of thousands of Palestinians to northern Gaza is a testament to the resilience of its people, even in the face of overwhelming challenges. As families navigate the aftermath of the conflict, the international community's role in providing aid, fostering peace, and supporting reconstruction will be critical in shaping the region's future. Path ahead remains uncertain, but the determination of those returning home offers a glimmer of hope amid the devastation. I hope you are updated. Keep watching for the next news bulletin.